Yes.
And thank you for joining this meeting. We'll be
Yes.
starting shortly.
Okay.
Our host today is Philbert. He is the one that has been communicating to you via email. Philbert,
Yes.
kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, Dr. Amos. It's an honor to have you here, and we look forward to learn a few things here and there.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Now, Doctor, is there anything you'd like to address first, or can we go directly into the interview?
No, I think when I look at the questions that you had sent me, I think everything is kind of well captured in the questions, so that I can be able to, I think, address the issues that maybe I would have wanted to mention. But I want to congratulate you guys for what you are doing. I think this is going to add a whole lot of value into the whole issue of mental health. It has been an area that is ignored, and I think and serviced. And I think with every effort put in that direction, I think I owe a commendation to everyone who is putting effort in that direction. And that, I think this is what even what we are doing this afternoon is all about. I think I must say congratulations for this effort.
Thank you. So Philbert, I don't know if you're still around. Kindly, we are going to start. I am going to introduce Polyod now as we start, and just a minute. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Washington Riri. I am the Youth and Health Director for Polyouth. And Polyouth, or rather Youth in Policy, is an independent civil society organization comprising of young people with a passion for public policy. And our main mandates are: one, to advocate for the inclusion of young people in policy-making processes conducted at the local, national, regional, and international levels, and two, inspiring a generation of youth that are actively engaged in matters public policy making in Kenya through virtual and physical engagements. By so doing, we strive to influence policy on the following 6 areas that touch on youth: youth and health, youth and economy, youth security, violence, extremism and war, youth and climate change, youth and political participation, youth and their education. So in this particular series for this month, we are concentrating on youth and their health, and we shall be speaking candidly on matters mental health. Today with us, we have Dr. Amos Gakobo Kibara, who is a practicing mental health practitioner. Dr. Amos, kindly introduce yourself for the people to know you.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Bwana Washington, for the opportunity to join us on this virtual interaction. As you have rightly mentioned, my name is Amos Kibara. I am a practicing psychologist. I am the director, Prudent Counseling and Rehabilitation Center that is based in Thika, where we have our rehabilitation center for people with issues of drug and substance abuse. We have a 20 patient facility with inpatient facilities. We accommodate both men and women in our practice. Personally, as an individual, I have done this for the last 15 years of my life. And I think I am very, very thankful to God that it has been possible, that through what I am doing, through what, because we do this together with my wife, the support that she has been able to give to me, the fact that she has been able to come around me, I really, really owe a lot of appreciation to my wife for buying into the vision. I think having said that, I must also say that I am a husband of one wife and a father of two children. I do not shy away from saying that I am a born again Christian, because that is also very, very important to me. And I think the rest of the details about myself, I will maybe share as we continue to know each other. I think at the background, you can hear some chicken. Just excuse me for that. It is a part of uh, just some chicken we have at the background of our center to create that homely environment. I feel like it is making noise, but just excuse me for that.
Yes, Daktari. So, that's a very interesting thing you have mentioned there, that you're trying to create a homely environment at your center. And well, that will lead us to our first question. Well, you have said that you had this vision and you have been working in this field for quite some time. So, what inspired you to become a counselor in the first place? What inspired you to take on this very challenging career?
I think I must
Excuse me, Dr. but your audio is not okay. Nakatika katika.
that
Um,
anyway,
Daktari, hello, karibu tena. I think we might be facing some issues with the internet connection that does bring about the kind of breakage we are having. If you don't mind, kindly will you kindly take us through your answer for the question that had been asked previously?
sorry about what happened. I was on what inspired me to become a counselor, and I was saying that for me to be a counselor today, it has been a process. And I was explaining that when I finished high school, I didn't know, and I didn't have somebody to guide me on how to go about choosing a career. I didn't have somebody who would come around me and look at my grades and tell me that this is what I didn't have anybody making an interview on me or trying to find out what were my preferences. And then I found myself going about a course that I chose, but I didn't choose it because I had really enough deep roots to say that I am choosing this career because I have what it takes. Until 4 years later, after finishing my first college, that I decided I wanted to go back to school and pursue a different thing. And I got an opportunity to join a university in the US, in the state of Alabama. It's called Troy University. And in the year 2003, when I was at the age of 26, I was the first year, and I went for 6 years, and I graduated in the year 2008 as a practicing psychologist with a Bachelor of Science in counseling. So one of the things that I came to realize about myself during that time, that I had a deep desire to empower others. That is one of the critical issues, or primary issues, that I must say that it kind of drove me to be the counselor I am. I had a deep desire, and I knew that I have leadership skills. And the more you understand about who you are, the more you realize that you are not just going about motions in life, but there are specific people you will meet who will kind of help you to understand who you are. And that is what happened to me, that when I was in the States and I was pursuing my cause, there were so many things that kept confirming to me, this is my area, this is my area. But at a personal level, I had a deep desire to empower others. I know because since I was in high school, I was a leader. When I went to college, I was a Christian Union chairman, and I dealt with a lot of cases of people who had challenges. And finding somebody coming to me and finding an answer, it was an added ingredient to my understanding that I can work and I can be able to practice in the field of counseling. When I did that, I think I got a very deep sense of satisfaction. The way you do something and you feel, I think I can do it again and again and again, even when nobody is paying me for it, because it gives me a deep sense of satisfaction. And I think number 4, I also felt this conviction. I must say that being a practicing Christian, I felt that this is the will of God for me. And therefore, looking at it that now I am in counseling, I have every conviction within me that having a desire to empower others, the fact that I am a leader, the fact that I have counseling gives me a deep sense of satisfaction and a conviction it is the God's will for me. I think I made that decision, and I am home and dry as a practicing counseling psychologist today.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. So now, on the academic side of the issue, what does it take to become Dr. Amos? What does it take to become a practicing psychologist?
This is one of the processes that somebody who is not when somebody is and especially when people are coming through high school and they have not had an interaction with resources in terms of people who can be able to educate them or take them through the process of understanding how people go about choosing careers and how somebody looks at what I see now in many high schools when I visit high schools called career wheel. Some people do not understand what is going on. And sometimes our students go through high school without an understanding what exactly do I want to become at the end of this process. So the issue of a combination of subjects and how that works, they might not be able to understand very well because they probably have not been guided on how to go about becoming a certain professional in a certain field. But when we ask what does it take to become a counselor in Kenya, we are looking at somebody who has identified what do I want. There are quite a number of things I would assume that this person has looked at their performance probably after high school. They have also been able to look at their other skills, being maybe an introvert, an extrovert, the kind of things that gives them a sense of satisfaction. But because this is a career path, it's not just informed by passion. It is not just informed by what other people would want you to become. It should be an informed decision, because I think for me, I had a hard time going through the laboratory technology course because I was not so much I was not so sure that that is what I wanted to be, but since it was the only thing I had, I felt it's like I am here because this decision was made for me by circumstances or by default because I didn't know what else I need to do. But now that we are asking what it takes, an individual needs to identify why he wants to become a counselor. What is it that inspires this particular individual to become a counselor? Then this person should identify a credible training institution. And there are several that are coming up. We can start from the certificate level, we can start from the diploma level, you can enter into a degree level, and this is all informed by the performance going by our standards of education in Kenya. Going by the performance, somebody can start at the certificate level if probably somebody scored a D. If somebody scored from a C minus, you can start from a certificate level. From a C plane, you can start from a diploma level. If you qualify to the university and you so desire to be a counselor, you can start at the degree level and you can now grow from there. It is also good to mention that there are different levels of counseling or different arms of counseling. We have marriage and family therapists, we have addiction counseling, we have trauma, we have loss and grief, we have HIV and AIDS counseling, and we have so many other faculties. We have some people who have picked up counseling in field of advising people on careers, and I think there are so many fields. So depending on what one feels called to do or feels that this is what gives me a sense of satisfaction, this is something that I can do over and over again and I'm happy with what I am doing, this person should identify what you want. You should start the desired training at whichever level, and of course, whichever college this person intends or chooses to attend, they will always be advised as per their performance. Where do they start? Is it at the certificate? Is it at the diploma? Is it at the degree level? And from there you can, and even somebody starting from a certificate level, they should excel and they should go to the diploma level, to the higher diploma level, or to the degree level, to the master's, and even to the PhD level. And as much as it's now that I am considering to go into my master's degree level, I think it is very, very commendable that we need so many people in the field. And finally, when we have been able to achieve all those, it will also be good to seek an accreditation as a counselor from the counseling bodies like the Kenya Counselors and Psychologist Association. There are several others that are coming up, and I think it would be good so that you identify with a counseling organization or a body that can accredit you, and it connects you with other people who can resource you and make you grow in your career as a practicing counselor or psychologist.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, yes. Daktari, it has come to our attention that a lot of Kenyans usually have this anxiety to seek for help because, well, they don't know what is going to happen, they don't know what to expect. So will you kindly take us through what a person will expect when they come into your office for a session? Maybe tell us how long you would take for an average session, maybe how long you would also take to handle an average case or something of the sort.
Thank you for that question. That's a good one. A counseling session is, it starts the moment probably you receive a call or you receive a referral from somebody who might have recommended your name, or somebody might have searched for maybe a counselor or maybe an interventionist or a psychologist, maybe even from the internet. And that in itself, it must inform me as a counselor that if this person went to the internet and or maybe received a referral or received a recommendation from somebody, that you can talk to so and so because he's a counselor, it's somebody I know, is a dependable person, is a resourceful person who can be able to help. when that person makes that call, for me, I start building a relationship with that person, because one of the disadvantages is I do not know whether it is crisis or whether it is maybe that person has been sent away from school or has been sent away from college. For me, as a counselor, I take it that when that person reaches out to me, my always first assumption is that that person is in a crisis, and I am the first person to make an intervention that probably builds or breaks that person. So when we ask of how does a counseling session usually go, I think for me it starts when that person makes that call, asking me where is your office located, can I come over? And at that moment, I also don't want to bring up issues of money and payment and such, because for me, I prioritize life first. Let this person come in, let me know the kind of a person this person is, what is the reason behind their calling, and at the same time, I can be able to make an assessment based on when this person comes, is it a person who is in a crisis, somebody who is, when this person comes in, everything for me starts with an assessment. At least, of course, after the introduction of where are you coming from, who I am, and what these people can expect, I will do the assessment of the client, and I will find out what is the issue that makes them come in. The next thing is that I will, after listening to the assessment, because it could be through the questions, listening to their story and probing and wanting to find out, it is from that that I can now be able to, together with the client, come up with an intervention plan, or what we call the treatment plan. Of course, in my listening and in my probing to get the whole details, I get to hear 1, 2, 3, 4 areas that if I dealt with those areas as per what the client has maybe shared as his or her story, I can now be able to say, these are the areas that I feel they are key, and if we address them, we will be good. So I'm looking at this person I have given this person an appointment, that is the first place, and it could be on the phone, or this person will come in and probably just knock at the gate, because we have a banner on our office that we are a counseling center, and people can even just walk in with money or without money. Let them come in and let's find out what is going on. From there, I will do the assessment where we will be probing and listening to the story and start all that kind of stuff. Then we will make an intervention plan. I'll tell this person, I see 1, 2, 3, and we will agree that these are areas that I feel they are critical. And from there, I will now be able to schedule how many sessions can we be able to do that. And because I don't want to give an open-ended kind of intervention, I want to make sure that I have how many sessions can I be able to recommend, that I'll give you 5 sessions upon which we can review the progress in the intervention, and if we are good, then probably we will do the aftercare, or we can do now, if maybe we have not been able to achieve the objectives that we have set, we can then go back and say, maybe we need to do 1 or 2 more sessions because of other things that might come up, or probably the client has not been able to do, they have not been able to implement the changes, and maybe they might have gone out and tried to do the implementation, but then they kind of got some other obstacles or difficulties that they were not able to implement what we had agreed. So we can always go back and revisit and say, this is what happened, were you able to do what we agreed, what are the challenges, and then we can now be able to address that and be able to see what are the new challenges that are coming up as I continue empowering this person. So after the objectives, we will always end up with the evaluation of the progress. So depending with what has come up, I can be able to say, I'll give you 5 sessions, which we are going to probably be, maybe I do the first one every week, the first one and the second one, and probably we can do the other 2 or 3 fortnightly, and then I can see you after 1 month or that kind of a thing, so that I see if I give 4 sessions and this person was to come to me after 1 month, is it possible that this person has been able to implement what we have given as the recommendation and as the interventions that would help them probably be able to deal with the issue they presented at the beginning. So the issue of how our counseling goes, it is with an appointment, the assessment, then the intervention plan, and then we do the sessions, and then we handle the obstacles that comes along the way, and then we do an evaluation of the progress as per the set objectives. And I think you had asked me also the question about how long does an average counseling case take, and what are the average costs? I think you can confirm whether you asked me that question.
Yes, I had.
From my end, a counseling case depends on the nature of the case, because there are some cases that will come to me and probably the place to begin is not in my office. Somebody will come in and probably they will require maybe a medical intervention before they need or before they can get a psychological intervention. And of course, in order of priority, if somebody comes to me and maybe these people, they are a threat to themselves because they feel suicidal, they feel homicidal, and maybe they have a plan, they feel like I don't want to live anymore. The issue of how quickly that case lasts in my hand, it will also be dependent on other professionals apart from me, because this becomes somebody that I might need to send to a psychiatrist for a psychiatric intervention because of them being a threat to themselves and son. So it is good to say that an average counseling case, they do not all follow the same path, and they do not all fit into the one size fits all kind of a scenario. But clients who come in, let's say with an average case, let's say a psychological issue, or a young couple who are not able to cope with each other for whatever reason, and it could also be leading with somebody who comes to my office and has an issue with drug and substance abuse. So on average case, if it's somebody whom I am seeing on outpatient basis, of course, upon assessment, I will recommend I can see you on outpatient basis for 5 sessions. If it's 5 sessions and at the cost of 2,500 per session, so we are looking at an average cost of 12,500 for the 5 sessions. So that would be on cost. That is an average. That is an average case that follows 5 consecutive sessions without probably other issues that comes up. It just goes straight on. It would be an average of 5 to 10 sessions. 5 to 10 sessions, giving an allowance for other issues that might come up, and maybe the cost of it would be ranging between 10,000 to 20,000. It's also good to say that the costs depends with whether it is inpatient or outpatient. Because an inpatient one will require more than just the therapy, because there will be issues to do with meals, there will be issues to do with accommodation, there will be issues to do with resources like electricity and water and security and staff, so that one also depends with what is actually the nature of the challenge we are having. Like in my case and in my center, if somebody comes in and required to be admitted for a rehabilitation intervention, it takes a period of 3 months, and the cost is between 150 to 200,000, depending with what is going on for a specific period of 3 months. Yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, Daktari, that we have dealt with the uncertainty, anxiety that most of us face, that prevents a lot of us from seeking professional help. What will you say, from your perspective as a practitioner, are some of the issues that prevent Kenyans from seeking help, when they realize depending on how I've been and how I'm feeling, I feel like maybe I might be feeling a bit depressed. Maybe I feel like this behavior has started becoming a bit too obsessive compulsive. What will you say are some of the issues that you have seen preventing some of your clients and holding them back from accessing help?
Wow, that's a good one, and I think it has many faces to it because one, I must say that mental health services are not so readily available in Kenya. And you go to some places, and I have interacted with some heads of schools who maybe by the nature of their work, if somebody has like an indiscipline case, this student will be sent away from school and they are told you go for counseling, but then they look around and they try to Google, they can't find anybody probably within a perimeter of 100 kilometers from them. Nobody seems to know of any mental health person, a counselor, a psychologist, or anybody. And majority of them would resort to probably go to their pastors for such interventions. And maybe the pastors might not be trained in the field of mental health, so probably the pastor will always maybe pray for them and then set them back. But then, so the issue of accessibility of these services, they are not readily available to the people who might need them, and especially in the rural areas and in some of the most interior parts where some cases we might have even had in the news about children committing suicide because even the teachers maybe who are handling them, maybe the elders in the village, they are not in a position to make interventions for people who really need that mental health intervention at a particular time. Another challenge is that many people tend to think that going to ask for help, maybe from a mental health professional, is a weakness. Is quite fallen in Africa that people will feel is like, how do I go and share my story and tell somebody about what is going on? They take it to be like, am I not exposing myself that I am not able to handle a situation? So the issue of feeling like it is a weakness, it is one of is a challenge, or it's an issue that prevents Kenyans from. There is no way I am going out there to tell somebody about my weaknesses. The third thing is the issue of stigma. There is a lot of stigma. There is a lot of victimization. There is a lot of people being judged. When sometimes when somebody says it's like I am going for counseling, people will say it's like, are you going crazy? What's wrong with you? Are you going mad? Because people tend to think that counseling or interventions by mental health, it is all pointing in the direction that you are not able to handle your life, or there must be something that is very wrong with you. So the issue of stigma, stigmatization, or victimization or being judged are some of the issues. Number four, there is lack of awareness within the general population that the intervention by these professionals can help. People don't probably believe that sitting down for a therapeutic interaction is helpful. So some people will shy away because it's like it doesn't help. Some other people will say that it is too expensive, and for sure, if let's say, for example, somebody was maybe in a rural setup, because of the fact that people could be struggling economically. If you ask maybe somebody who earns 500 shillings in a day to pay for a session of 2,500, and he has children to feed and he has rent to pay and other bills, before that person accumulates that amount of money to pay for one session, which goes for 1 hour or maybe at most 2 hours, this person will feel like I didn't get the value for my money, but it is because the services are not readily available in terms of cost to the people who would probably be in need of those services. Another one is there is infiltration of unqualified counselors. There are so many people posting out there as counselors, and they mislead people, and people end up not having confidence in professional counselors like we, because they were mishandled. They were kind of not helped to see and to realize the solution they were looking for, and therefore the issue of having so many quacks, I would say, it kind of make people feel is like I went to this person, I didn't get the help I was looking for, and therefore it doesn't work. And I think the last one I would maybe mention is the issue of spiritualizing of mental health, because people will say it's like if you behave this and this way, you have a demon. And you know, the way is like there is a lot of shidwe, you know, like people.
Piga magoti
And
tukuwekelee
it's a
mikono.
mental health issue.
Yes.
You know, and it become a challenge that, hey, I don't want that drama of like to be kona shetani kwa kichwa and all those kind of things. So the issue of spiritualizing mental health, that somebody has maybe depression, which is okay. Somebody could be suffering with maybe a certain disorder. Somebody could be having things to do with substance abuse, and it is something that an intervention can be made without looking at it from a spiritual perspective and a victimizing person that you are suffering these things because you are a sinner and those kind of things. And many people shy away from those issues because there are challenges that as professionals we need to educate people on, and so that we can help people embrace mental health as a form of health intervention like in any other field.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, allow me to dive into a question that has been brought up by your answer on the issues that prevent us. You have spoken about the issue of stigmatization, and
Yes.
well, that has caused me to wonder what steps have we made as a country, if any, towards having policies that are inclusive towards for those living with mental health problems, and if not, what are some of the steps that we can make to make it easier for them to live in society and to work in society without the feeling of being stigmatized?
On that one, I think I will say, you know, everything that let me turn political a bit for the purposes of understanding where I'm coming from. I think 2 or so years ago we didn't have anything to do with BBI.
Yes.
But everybody today talks about BBI because we have been made aware of it. And we have been, we are being made to believe that it is going to turn our lives around, and we are buying into the idea. And, you know, the fact that it's being repeated again and again and again, we are some questions. For sure, what is exactly it is going to help us do? It is going to help us get jobs? Is it going to help us pay more taxes? Is it, you know, that kind of a thing? In the same way, I would think that the issue of awareness, creation of awareness is critical. And I think for the steps that we can take, I feel that we need to be very, very deliberate about talking about issues of mental health. And this is one of the things we are doing, is that we are talking about it now, and anybody listening to this conversation now and even in the future, they will have a kind of an awareness of, you mean there are some people who sat down somewhere of they had a virtual meeting and they discussed these issues. That is awareness creation, and it is very, very important. Number 2 is the issue of we should let people, groups, embrace mental health. And for this, we are talking about, I admire some principals who open their schools to us to go and talk about issues of mental health to the young people. That is a people group, because there are people who are gathered together. There are churches who have been able to open their doors, and they have around us to go and talk to people about issues to do with mental health, allow them to know some of the things that goes on and how to make those some of these challenges, what can they do if even at the home level without even a professional intervention. So the issue of letting the people groups, yet in churches, in schools, in chamas, people should embrace the issue of mental health. We can have a facilitator coming in and talking to us about what is going on, our self-esteem issues, things to do, how we relate with each other. When our young children are growing up and we don't know how to handle them with the issue of peer pressure and issues of drug and substance abuse, we make it become more of our business other than thinking that serikali itaigiria at one time. Issues of also making mental health practitioners to be available. Like let's say, for example, I wish we would have this big step of having a counseling, not the way probably it is done for now, because right now I know we have counseling, guidance and counseling department in school. But looking at the crisis we are in, or we have been in most of even the schools that have these departments, it might not be giving us the true deal of what probably is required when it comes to the need for meeting the mental health needs among our young people, because the teacher is teaching mathematics and chemistry and Kiswahili, but we'll have to sit later alone in the office and probably intervene in cases of children who have challenges. I would advocate that having a mental health practitioner, even at the primary level, at the secondary level, at the tertiary level institution, it is very, very important. Then we need to make it not as maybe without giving it an expense or thinking that it's another overhead that our institutions are going to deal with and all that. We need to embrace that there is no chemistry, there is no biology, there is no geography without mental health. Because the stability of this particular individual is very, very critical. If this person cannot be able to concentrate because they have issues they are struggling with, how are they going to understand Archimedes' principle in biology or in chemistry or in those kind of things that we used to learn that we are quite difficult. So we need a very stable mind.
Yes.
You see where I'm coming from?
So I do.
Making these people that they have somebody that they know is available at any hour, and they should the school administrators and the managers. It's not an issue that you do after 4 o'clock that you visit the counselor's room. Let it be even at the middle of the day when it is a double math lesson. Somebody can be sent to see the counselor because that is very, very critical. And of course, you can have me as a student. You can have me as a son to my mother, a son to my father. You can have me as I might not be able to do the complicated mathematics, but I am a full-time father to a certain daughter, a certain son, and I need my mental health together without even mathematics or without the geography. So we must learn how to prioritize that mental health comes before anything else. And therefore, the availability of mental health practitioners in our basic institutions of learning is very, very critical. The other one, I think we don't have to wait until a mental health becomes a crisis. Let's say, for example, if you see your child is in maybe a very outgoing child, and then you realize that something has happened to them and you are not able to understand, you don't have to wait until it becomes a crisis when this child is out there and probably is self-medicating on marijuana or self-medicating on another thing because of something that you ignored. Mental health, it is even what a parent can sit and encourage their children. It is something that we can break it down and give it to and be able to digest it even at those home levels, whereby as a father coming home, I know my son, I know my daughter, I know who they are when they are through themselves. If I came home and I realize there is something about them that I am not understanding, I can call them aside. I can tell them it's like, take me for the car wash. And I want to find out what exactly is going on. I can tell them it's like, let's go to the supermarket and pick a few things, because I just want them to have a relationship with me that I can make an intervention on what is going on. You look down yesterday and today, is there something that happened in school? And I'm creating a platform for them to be able to make to confide in me of what could be going on, that I don't have to deal with the crisis later because I dealt with the signs of something that could be going on. So also the issue of making these services available for people in churches, because a challenge that I want to put across to us here is that you know, in our churches, and I talk about churches because in churches we have doctors, we have accountants, we have bankers, we have teachers, we have psychologists, we have counselors. And when they come and they sit in our Sunday services, they are just sitting there, and maybe we have not put them to good use as members of our respective churches.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
they go away with their experience, they go away and they take it to the hospitals and to their offices, and they can give those services in the church for free. And that is why I think God brought them to the church, so that they can be able to edify the members of the church and be able to avail their services and be able to volunteer their services. But why would you make a psychologist anaokota sadaka kwa kanisa badala ya kuwaelezea watu about issues of mental health? So I think we must make these services available, and we must be creative enough to harness the people that God has brought in our churches and make them more useful in areas of their specialization. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. That's wonderful. I believe you have covered both the issue of inclusivity as well as the issue of access to proper mental health care. And I very much would like to appreciate an answer that you have given in terms of making the services available. I feel personally it is something that as Kenyans we should be looking to address. Whatever platform we have, whether be it at school, be it at our mosques, at our churches, wherever we are as trained counselors, we should be using those platforms, as Dr. Kibara has mentioned. Now, Daktari, the issue of stigmatization may also arise from lack of knowledge on what to do. Assuming I have a loved one at home, my brother, my sister, say my girlfriend, we are seated, we are talking, and then they get an anxiety attack, but I do not know what to do. Do you offer, or do you know anyone that offers training on mental health first aid? Because I believe it will be something that will be nice for our viewers and listeners to have knowledge on, because it will really help when to prevent these cases from becoming a crisis, as you have said. I'm sorry, Daktari, you're quite inaudible.
And it is dealing with those issues. And
kindly bear with us. We have lost Daktari for a minute, but we will be having him on soon. Welcome back, Daktari. You are addressing the issue of mental health first aids.
Yes, and I was saying there is a program I'm working on, and I am developing a curriculum for training on mental health first aiders. And I think for just to give maybe maybe an intervention, even for somebody who is not somebody don't have to be so much trained in the area for them maybe to make an intervention when somebody has maybe, let's say, for example, an anxiety attack. And anything that somebody does when somebody is having such a, maybe an attack, anything you do is correct so long as you do not run away. Because running away is the worst thing that you can do when somebody is going through such an attack or is in such a crisis. And the first one, because there are 10 P's, as in P as in Peter. There are 10 words that describe what somebody can do during that particular time, and that is for like the first few minutes when somebody is in attack to the next maybe such an attack. And one of the P's I say is presence. So just be there when this person is probably going through this or is just there and they don't know, and they cannot be able to make very good judgment for themselves. Next them, pressure and probably holding this person's hands appear. You don't run away. I remember when we were in school, we had one of our friends who used to have seizures that they would have fits and they would fall. And whenever that would happen, everybody would run away. And I think now that was not the good approach to that particular problem. So the issue of being there and just ensuring that this person is accompanied, then when he recovers or when he needs to talk to somebody, he can find somebody to talk to. I think the issue of presence is very, very important. When somebody is having such an attack, the second P is on protection. That we need to protect this person from self-harm or anything that would worsen anything of what they could be going through. We just want to say whatever crisis they could be in is bad enough, and we want to be there to protect them from any secondary injury or any secondary complication out of whatever it is that could be going on. And number three, after things have calmed down, you would want to get a perception. That is P number three. You want to get a perception of are you okay? What is it that is going on? Is there anything that maybe you would want us to talk about? You want to now run. How does the victim perceive of what has just happened? So you are there, you have provided the presence, you have offered protection that this person doesn't get any further injury or anything or self-harm. You are now listening to get the perception. What does the victim feel about what has just happened? And the reason for wanting to hear the perception is that you can reassure the individual, you can encourage the person, you can those words that you talk to them, and of course, even finding somebody to talk to is also a very, very critical issue. Number four is what is the problem? You can now want to find out, is there a problem that you can be able to maybe make an intervention about? This person also needs to be given what we call a psychological resiliency, the issue of bouncing back. You make them feel that don't feel ashamed. So you make them come back to, you want to restore them to their normal area of functionality or context of functionality without making them feel, what were you thinking? Are you okay? Are you normal? You are not attacking them, but you give them a psychological resiliency. You make them come back to a place of like that was encouraging. Well, that was okay. It's, you know, giving them a sense of like it can happen to anybody. You are not an isolated case. Making them feel the sense of being accepted by. Number six is a practical assistance. What is it that you can practically do? And probably one of the things you can practically do is just being there with them. What is needed? Maybe they feel hungry, or maybe they would want you to give them a glass of water. maybe they would want they want to take a nap, maybe whatever it is, there is a practical assistance that you can give when that happens. What happened, to be the thoughts that we are going on in this person's mind, what was that about, just wanting to find out. Now that this has happened, what is going on, you want to find the purpose. Do they have any fears of being left alone? Do they need, what is it that they need immediately after maybe they have had such an attack? And the issue of preparing them for the future through probably issues of reassuring them and going by what was the cause. Because after you have taken them through the 9 P's, the 10th one is on passing off. By passing off, it means when you listen to all those things, do you want to refer this person? Do you want to escort this person to maybe to a psychologist or to a psychiatrist or to what is it the next thing? Where do you refer this person to? Do you call a family member who can now be able to take over from where you have left? Or can you be able requires to be referred to this other particular place for more support on the going on. Listen at such a crisis or an attack, presence, protection, and very critical.
Well, thank you. Those are the 10 P's of mental health first aid. Now, as we come to an end, Dr. This is our final question. As a mental health practitioner, what kind of information do you feel that most Kenyans need to have in relation to mental health care?
I think according to the Kenya Mental Health Policy, the Kenya Mental Health Policy 2015 to 2030 as a human right. And this is one of, and I think this is unique for us, I think, as a country, that we have so many policies that probably sometimes we have not been able to implement everything that that we have researched on, and if it was implemented, it would be able to make it, it would make our mental health system very effective and very supportive to people who really need these services. But I think I would want to just make an encouragement, and I don't want to start it from where we say serikali iingilie, because I might not be able to start from there, but I want to start from me as an individual. I want to start with me. I want to make it so basic that anybody can be able to probably pick it up, even before we look at the policies that the government develops, and the one has already been developed and need to be implemented. The issue of being my brother's keeper. It is as basic as that. I will look at the person I am and what I decided to say, even to people who don't know me. I don't know what is contained in their past. So kabla serikali iingilie, I want to just be the first mental health practitioner in line by how I talk to people. When I talk to people on the internet, as I post the things I post on my maybe social platforms, as I interact with people virtually or physically, the kind of intervention that I make, it might not be human by the fact I'm going to find in the supermarket or in the market or in the matatu or in my office, but I choose to be nice to them. I choose to say hi to that person, like making them feel that I have acknowledged and I have recognized that they are there. Saying hi to this person, even when I visit this office, I say good morning. When I go to my place of work, I want to let everybody know it's like I recognize you are there by asking them, how are you? Are you okay? If there is a joke I can throw in, I can be able to do that. Secondly, because it is a mental health, is a human right. I think this comes to where we say at the family level, at the end of the day, it will be our loved ones who will be brought to us when there is crisis. So I think families also need to develop their mental health policy. They might not be written, but they might say we will be having, even when there is busy schedules out, there is economic stress of so many things going on that require every one of us to be out there looking for resources. We should make time for our children. We should make time for our elderly. We should make time for our parents. You know, just having that moment at the family level. It's a policy that might not be written in a government document, but it can be written in our policies as a family that we are a family that eat together, pray together, kind of bear a burden for each other together. Now, when coming to the government level, there is so much that is written in so many documents, and I think we just need to make the first basic attempt to provide mental health by making it accessible, if not at every, maybe at every village or every maybe dispensary, because the government has the infrastructure of maybe, let's say, for example, in our schools, we can have a counselor in our public schools, in our secondary schools, and people know that mtoto wangu akiwa na shida anaweza enda pale, and the counselor also knows how do they make the services accessible by explaining and attending the assemblies in the schools and explaining some of the issues that could be going on, and can be able to explain some of the interventions that this child can have. Some of them need to be educated on if there are things going on at home and you don't know what you need to do, you can come in and confide in me, I'll see how to help you. These are some of the basic things that our children need to learn, because they sometimes they are lost. They don't know who to turn to. They don't know. They don't have the coping mechanism. But if there was somebody who was talking to them and encouraging them during the school assemblies and during their Sunday schools in the churches and those kind of things, they will have confidence of, oh, by the way, so and so told us, you can be able to talk to them when they are in difficulties. So the issue of also the government coming in by making it available maybe in our local dispensaries, or making it available in our, you know, a full-fledged maybe counseling department in our level 3, level 4, level 5 hospitals. That I think it is also very, very critical. We can also have, because when the government is willing, there is a lot of applications that they do, and they give those pamphlets and some magazines, and some of these things they are given for free. There is, I remember when we were in school at the primary level, it was those times when HIV was really, really demystified. And I remember we had pamphlets that we were reading that told us about what is HIV, how it is called, what can be done to prevent ourselves. And some of those and its significance we understand. How can we be able to be more healthier when it comes to the issues of mental health? We say mental health is an integral part of health, and until we embrace that and we improve on the facilities that provide our mental health, if it is in the public sector, let even where our mental health victims are treated, let it be for a certain level. There is a certain level of gain a certain level of everything, because these are our brothers and these are our sisters. And this is one of the things that I'm trying to make it the cleanest, so that this person is like having a look at as they felt I don't deserve it because maybe I have a mental challenge. And finally, making the policy work by making people aware and making the services available and accessible, I think it is critical. And the way to make it available and accessible, we might not be able to probably put practitioners everywhere, but we can be able to set publications everywhere. You know, just educating people and releasing these materials out there, you never know who is going to pick it up, and they will read it and they will know this is something I didn't know, but now I know. I think I would.
That's wonderful, Dr.
Yes.
There you have it. Make it available, learn, make an effort to learn, be your brother's keeper, and we will step by step improve the mental health care in our country. Now, Dr. As we come to an end of our session, will you have any closing remarks? Maybe tell us how we can reach you, how we can come to your center for help.
Thank you for the opportunity for me to share this afternoon, and I want to believe that for everyone listening to us, this is going to be educative. Like I said from the beginning, I think every little effort that we push towards mental health is it's very, very critical. It's very, very important, and I think as a practitioner of us is do better and better every day, including the smile that we give even to people that we don't know. I am the proprietor and the director of Prudent Counseling and Rehabilitation Center. We are available through the phone. We are available on our social media, that is on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. You can find it, or you can search for it on. You can also look for me as an individual, that is Amos Kibara. If you just search for Amos Kibara, we are not so many of us even on Facebook, but I my 3 names, you can be able to search for me on that one. I am also on LinkedIn. You can also visit. We are situated, but I think you can take in my number 700-345-403. Again, 0700-345-403. We are just a call away. Would want to encourage even those who could be struggling with issues. We have somebody that we can refer you to and probably be able to help you and understand what exactly is going on. I really appreciate the opportunity to have shared this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Dr. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Amos Gakobo Kibara. From us at Polio, this is goodbye until next time. Have a wonderful time.